hoş geldiniz. Ben de Candan Hanım'a çok teşekkür ediyorum bize böyle bir imkan sağladığı için. Hocamız Afonso CAVACO'ya TÜBİTAK'ın 2221 programı desteğiyle 2 aylığına Türkiye'de araştırmalar yapmak üzere geldi Nisan başında. Yaptığı araştırma kendisi iletişim konusunda çalışıyor. Sosyal eczacılık alanında iletişim konusunda çalışıyor. Çalışması kapsamında da Portekiz'de ve bazı Avrupa ülkelerinde uyguladıkları eczacı-hasta iletişiminin iyileştirilmesi amacıyla sanal eczane, bilgisayar ortamında hasta-eczacı iletişiminin sağlanmasına yönelik bir program geliştirmişler. Ve bunun acaba uygulanabilir mi, değil mi, bu mesleğin uygulayıcıları bu konuda ne düşünüyorlar diye bir inceleme yapıyorlar. Öncelikle bugünkü sunumunda sizlere sunum başlığında da gördüğünüz gibi sizlere Türkçe çıktılarını da dağıttık. Hoca İngilizce yapacak sunumunu ama biz size Türkçe çıktıları da dağıttık. Eğer herhangi bir soru, sıkıntı olursa biz de elimizden geldiğince yardımcı olmaya çalışacağız. Bu sunum kapsamında Otc ilaçların kullanımı, basit hastalıkların tedavisinde, hafif hastalıkların tedavisinde eczacı danışmanlığı nasıl olmalı ile ilgili size kısa bir bilgi verecek. Yarım saat kadar sürecek bir seminer. Ardından da bu bahsetmiş olduğum sanal eczane, sanal hastalarla uygulanan sanal eczane uygulamasını bilgisayarı olan katılımcılarla birlikte yapmaya çalışacağız. Yine size sunumlarla birlikte verdiğimiz anketler var. Bu uygulamayı yapan eczacılarımızın uygulama sonrasında geri bildirimlerini almak üzere bu anketleri dağıttık. Eğer burada bilgisayarı olmayan eczacılarımız da var. Sonrasında kendileri bilgisayarda bu uygulamayı yapıp geri bildirimde bulunmak isterlerse biz onların e-posta adreslerine de bu anketi ve uygulamayı gönderebiliriz. O şekilde de yine sonrasında sizin geri bildirimlerinizi alabiliriz. Ben Afonso Hoca'ya veriyorum sözü. Bir şey olursa bizler de buradayız. Herhangi bir soru olduğunda elimizden geldiğince yardımcı olacağız. Tekrar teşekkürler geldiğiniz için.
Okay. First of all, teşekkürler for being here. Çok teşekkürler. And that's all the Turkish I know. So I'm afraid I'll keep in English. So if you need any help, you can say something and Bilga will help you translating into Turkish. Okay, so don't be afraid. Just say something and I'll stop and then Bilga will help me. Okay? So, first of all, I would like just to say very quickly, it's a great pleasure to be here. It's really an honor to be received at the Ankara Pharmacist chamber. And I'll be, so I'm a Portuguese pharmacist. I don't know how much Bilga has told about me, but I'm a Portuguese pharmacist and I work at the Faculty of Pharmacy in Lisbon, Portugal. But today I'm here to talk a little bit about pharmacist-patient communication, and especially the communication that you need to do if you are counseling minor illnesses. Okay? Is this clear? Or, yeah? Okay. So I'll be brief because we have more things to do today than listening to me. You have other things to do, and Bilga will make sure that you can use a software, if not today, maybe tomorrow or another day, a software to help you to train these skills, counseling skills, how to counsel patients with minor ailments, minor illnesses, minor diseases, okay? So one definition for minor illnesses is from Watson, Margaret Watson. She's a UK pharmacist from Aberdeen in Scotland. And she's saying that minor illnesses are common, self-limiting, and uncomplicated health conditions, complaints, symptoms, that can be diagnosed and managed without medical intervention. So the patient itself can manage some condition, some health situation, okay? And this is important because in the UK, 18% of the GP work, of the doctor's work, 18% is solving, treating these conditions, these minor conditions, okay? So we are taking 80% of his time for things that the pharmacist could do. And actually, it costs a lot of money because doctors are using their time to treat conditions that could be treated without their intervention. So it's costly, it's time-consuming. And just to give you examples, some examples of what I'm saying, in the Portuguese system, the law is saying that you can treat as pharmacists certain conditions from gastrointestinal system. You can treat in the pharmacy 7 from the respiratory tract. From the skin, you can help patients with 19 different conditions. As a whole, 63 different pathologies, illnesses can be treated by self-medication legally in Portugal. Okay? So to make it more clear, what are we talking about? This is the self-care continuum. So it comes from pure self-care. So what each of us do, cutting your nails, washing your hair, that's self-care, okay? It goes from taking care of yourself, well-being, to hospitalization, okay? And the pharmacists, they work with self-medication and OTC drugs. They work around here, minor ailments, okay? Let's see if this works. So, yeah. So, this is the area. It's okay. This is the area where pharmacists could do something to help their patients when they come to the pharmacy with a complaint, with a symptom. So, this gentleman, Rutter, he decided to propose a definition for self-medication. So, it's the management of minor illness using a pharmaceutical product that can be bought, that can be available without a prescription of the doctor, without a recipe from the doctor, and usually those are OTCs or over-the-counter drugs. And political people would say, no, it's not working. Political people would say that there are a lot of advantages for self-medication. Advantages to the industry, more products in the market, it's good for the economy of the country. Advantages for healthcare professionals, pharmacists want to do more things when they are in the pharmacy. Also for the governments, because these drugs are not reimbursed, they don't have the state paying for them. And of course for patients. Patients want to be more responsible. They want to do more things. They want to take care of themselves. It might be not exactly like that, but it's mainly what's happening in Europe. Okay, so OTC drugs, over-the-counter drugs, are defined by FDA, the American agency, as all the drugs that were found to be appropriate to be used without a supervision, without the control of a healthcare professional. So if they are used as expected, they are good options, and they don't need a prescription. Okay? So if they are used well, means that the patient is able to read directions, to read the label of the drug, because sometimes the pharmacist might not be there. We want the pharmacist to be there always, but sometimes it might not be there. So let's see if the population really knows how to use a drug, reading from a label. Okay? And for that, you need to know the health literacy of the population. You need to know if the population really knows how to read and understand health information. Okay? And actually, there is a nice study done by Özdemir, Turkish scientist, and he found that using two different methodologies, the REALM and the NVS, these are instruments to measure health literacy, he found that in Turkey, in 2010, 6 years ago, you had between 42% to 72% of people who could not read properly medical and drug information. Okay? So I see an opportunity for pharmacists. These patients need your intervention, need you to be there for them, to help them understand what they are taking, how they are using their medicines. Okay? And the OTC market in Turkey is very special. I was really surprised. Many drugs that are very common as OTCs in Europe for a long time, since the 60s in some countries, 90s, 60s, are not yet OTCs in Turkey. They are under prescription. They need a doctor's prescription. And interestingly, aspirin, 100 milligrams is OTC here, which is a bit strange because if it's for a child, you have to be extra careful. But actually it might be for blood clotting. So it's a different indication, but it's interesting to have aspirin 100 milligrams free OTC and not having 500 milligrams, which is an OTC all over the world. In all the places I've been, you can find without a prescription a box of aspirin or any other paracetamol or, Okay, but actually what we see here is that the market is really small then, 2.3% for OTCs. In Europe, it's around, for the same year, 2012, was around 12%. OTCs in Europe, 12%. In Turkey, 2.3%. So really, really different, okay? And what you have more as an OTC are vitamins and minerals, food supplements, okay? Those are important, but they are not exactly drugs, right? Those are very important for your health. Vitamins are important, but they are not drugs. They are endogenous products. They are not exogenous. They are not exterior to the man, to the human body products, okay? So FIP, the International Pharmacist Federation, and WHO, the famous World Health Organization, they defined in the 90s, late 90s, what is a responsible self-medication. And responsible self-medication is only possible if you have available OTCs, if you have drugs that you can give to the patients. Those drugs should be of good quality and efficacy, should be indicated for conditions that are minor, also might be indicated for conditions which are chronic, but are well defined and could be managed with OTCs. That's another step. And of course they have to be designed, they have to be in the market, these medicines, for the purpose of being an OTC. But not only that, to have a self-medication market, we don't only need OTC drugs, we also need a pharmacist that is able to provide information to who is taking that drug. And to be able to do that, FIP said that the patient needs to know how to use the drug, for how long has he used the drug, what are the effects, the good expected effects, and maybe the side effects, the not so good ones, and how can you monitor, how can you control. Then possible precautions, interactions, and very important, to know if I'm taking this drug and it's not working, when should I see the doctor? Okay, that's really important. It's the most important thing. Actually, for pharmacists, the most important thing is to know how to make a decision of sending the patient to the doctor or recommending a product. Okay? But we could recommend products. That's why we are pharmacists. It's not to send the patient all the time to the doctor. Otherwise, he'll go by himself. You don't have to send him. But there are drugs that I can use in other markets to help the patient. Okay? So information and product, two different things. But not only information, giving information. That's not good. Because if you say lots of things to someone, you are not doing the right job. You are not really counseling that person. You are just, saying things that the person might say, yeah, I already knew that, or I don't understand what you are saying because it's new for me. So we have to be good communicators. And good communication is to be able to initiate a dialogue, a conversation with the patient. Asking the questions it has to be asked. Interpreting information. Providing information that is important. And, following up the patient is also very important. So, this very important scientist from the UK, Blenkinsop, and his wife, they decided to establish a number of skills that are really important if you want to work with OTC drugs and self-medication patients. There are four steps. One is gathering information, is getting all the information you need to make a decision on sending the patient to the doctor or giving a product and counseling. Okay? Then, this is already the second step, is to make a decision. How is the information I had from the patient allowing me to make a decision? Am I really going to give a drug, OTC, or am I going to send this patient to the doctor? So it's to differentiate between minor and major symptoms. And then to counsel an appropriate and effective treatment. And this has to take in account not only what you know, but also what the patient wish. Many people forget about that. They have products that they believe are good, and they just want the patient to take those products because it's the best. I'm a good pharmacist, this is what you should take. But that's not, maybe the patient already tried that drug and is not happy with the drug. He wants another thing. It could be a vitamin in the end, or a herbal product, some plant. Okay? And of course, very important is to follow up. One thing I've seen in many pharmacists is that I have given the drug, you know how to take it, my job is done. Bye. Go away. I don't want to see you more. Wrong. Because if you are committing yourself to give a drug, you want to know what happened. So when this patient comes back, you have to remember what was the drug. You should remember his name or her name and ask, how is it going? Are you better? Does it work for you? It's really important to make this commitment. Otherwise, it's just selling boxes. Just selling. Take this box, give me the lira. Okay? We are good friends. Don't bother me. Go away. I don't want to hear you anymore. I'm done with it. So, to be able, the most difficult part, or one of the most difficult parts, is to have the proper conversation, to know exactly what to ask without being 1 hour with this patient. I don't want a conversation for 1 hour. I have other things to do. So I have to really know what to ask in a very professional way, in a very straightforward. So I want to ask you what I need to know so I can work with the drugs I have, I can recommend, and you can go away happy. Okay? So many books and people who study this, they say that it's important to have a protocol, to have a guideline. So I know what I might be doing as the best for that person. Okay? Actually, these protocols are flow charts, decision trees. You make decisions. It's a flow chart. Okay? Is this happening? Yes or no? Yes. Go this way. What about this? Is this happening? Yes or no? No. Go this way. So it's a flow chart. It helps you make decisions. Maybe Bilge can say now that for those who have the computer and the file, on the folder there are 2 protocols written in Turkish. One for counseling diarrhea and another one for counseling headache. I have a headache. And what to do with those symptoms, so I don't, make a mistake with the patient. So the protocol will help me make a safe decision, make the right decision for that patient. I don't have to be worried because I follow the protocol and I've done the best in terms, this is generally speaking, of course. We have to know exactly what is going on with the details of that patient. So, but before we use the protocol, or before we use the decision tree, the flow chart, I want to start a conversation. I have to start a conversation with the patient. And there are usually 3 scenarios for starting a conversation. So, I'm the patient now. I go to the pharmacy and I can request something. Could you help me? I have this pain. Can you help me with this pain? So this is one way. Yeah. Excuse me. The other way is when someone says, I want a box of something, which is an OTC, but I want that box. And of course, someone could come just to ask for general advice, not for a symptom, not for a product, but just to have some opinion from the pharmacist. So imagine the first request from a collaborative patient, someone who is there to talk. He's not in a hurry, he has time, you have time. So let's go into a little dialogue, into a conversation, okay? And the patient can say, can you give me something for my headache? The pharmacist will say, yeah, sure. But to help you to give the best option, I would like to have some information. Is that okay? Yes. Go ahead. Ask me some questions. I'll be happy. That's a very good patient, right? The collaborative. He wants to collaborate. Okay? And then there is a number of questions that you can ask, and I'll go through those questions in a minute. I'll show you. Also, the patient can ask for a name of a drug. Can you give me a box of aspirin? Sure, I can. is it for you? It's the first question we always ask because we want to know who will be taking the drug. Okay? If we want to do patient counseling, if we want to sell the box, we just take it, give me the lira and go away. Okay? Yes, it is. So, and then he says, can I ask you if you have used this medicine before? And the patient say, yes, a couple of times, it was good. Do you need any information? This is a very closed question, needing information. The patient can say no, but he actually is not aware on how to use it on the best way. So the best question is a more open one, which is not there on your slides, Bilga. I just added this afternoon. So, but I put it because I thought it was important. And the question in open is, how are we going to use this medicine? And then the patient can say, well, I take this 2 times a day when I have an headache. Oh, that's good, 2 times a day. If it doesn't get better in 2 days, I'll go and see my doctor. Excellent. Take the box, you know everything. Okay? But also, usually patients are not so open, so willing to have a conversation. So it might be problematic, like this one. This one says, I want a box of aspirin. Sure, is it for you? Yes, it is. Have you used this medicine before? No, but I want it. Please give it to me. I have money. Why are you resisting my request? What kind of pharmacist are you? I'm a good pharmacist. I want to do the best for you. So that's why I'm asking you some more questions. You don't have time? That's okay. I'll give you the box, but maybe next time we can talk a bit more about this drug. Because it's important to make sure that you are taking it right. You might be taking it right. Probably you are taking it right, but I want to make sure, as a responsible healthcare professional, that you are really taking it right. Otherwise, I'm not taking responsibility. I'm just selling boxes. Okay? So he says something like, do you need any information on how to use the medicine? No, I'm in a hurry. Why are you putting so many questions? It's a very good drug. You've made a good decision, but I would like you to get the best result. I would like you to get the best treatment. So I would like to ask you 1 or 2 questions. Is that okay? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe the patient could say, what is this what is this guy looking for? I never get this kind of conversation. It's the first time. I visit pharmacies every week, and this is the first time. He's crazy. He's asking me questions. Well, that's a thing you might want to change. As a profession, you might not want to change. It's up to you. But the practice, the best practice would say, you should ask at least 1 or 2 questions. Okay? Good. And the last scenario is requesting health product advice. So to be able to ask the right questions when you are collecting information, it's very important that you use a mnemonic. What is a mnemonic? It's a kind of a number of letters that help you remember the questions. Okay? It's easier this way, much easier. Then, have I asked this? Have I asked that? No, I'm going through the letters and I get all the questions. Okay? Of course, if I'm just asking the questions as a robot, as a machine, it doesn't really help the patient. The patient thinks I'm just someone. But if I do it in the proper way, then helping with a mnemonic will help me really gather the relevant information I need. So one of the mnemonics is WHAM. You know WHAM, right? Last Christmas I gave you my heart, and the very next day you... It's WHAM, no? This was a joke, Bilga, it didn't work. You told me. No, I think people here are more or less my age, so they will know WHAM from the Last Christmas, no? George Michael band? I know. Okay, good. Thank you. I was getting worried that you only hear Turkish folk music and no international music. It's a very old song anyway. But actually, this is not one as a group, as a musical group, as a band, but it's one, meaning who is the patient? Because sometimes people go to the pharmacy to buy drugs for someone else. What symptoms? Many people think because he or she has a symptom that it's some disease, but they might be wrong, and you have to know the exact symptoms so you make the diagnosis of the minor illness. How long? This is very important. Usually more than 3 days, go and see your doctor. Don't come to the pharmacy. Okay? 72 hours duration of symptoms, not good. Because minor illness, they are self-limited. They are controlled. They tend to improve, to get better, not to keep the symptom. Okay? That's why we can treat them, because they are not so serious. They don't need medical care because they are limited. They are okay? We treat with OTCs symptoms that if we could wait, they will go away in 1 month maybe. But the patient wants to feel better immediately. That's why he comes to the pharmacy asking for a drug. Okay? And then action, as the patient took any previously, beforehand, any OTC, it might have already tried something out. And what are the medications and what are medications you are taking? Because if the patient says he's taking some drug, you will know what the patient might be suffering of. If he takes diuretic, he might be suffering of severe hypertension. So it's a good way of also knowing what the patient might be suffering. There are different mnemonics, lots of them. One is one of them, but there are more than one. And another one, just as an example, it's the RAS method. Okay? It's a number of questions. Age, if the drug is for himself, medication, etc. Okay, so after I get all the information, I might have a decision of sending the patient to the doctor because I have red flag serious symptoms, because I don't have enough information and I can't make a decision, or because the symptoms are there for a long time. I might also send the patient if the symptoms are still there, if they are getting worse. It might be just 2 hours ago, but the headache is really, really getting worse, so it's not for us to treat. It's not the pharmacist's responsibility. You send it to the doctor. Severe pain. If the pain is severe, that's the main symptom. Severe pain, shortness of breath, changes. There are different symptoms, but severe pain is the most important. Failed medication. The patient took something, but then did not work, and it was a good option. And if there are adverse drug reactions. So I'm almost finishing, and this is just to say that another important thing after choosing the drug, recommending the drug, is for you to make a partnership to be responsible for the outcome of that treatment. Okay? So it's very important that you don't make decisions on yourself, you listen to the preferences of your patient. Because he might want a drug that it's not a liquid syrup for his cough. I know that here you don't usually take coughs in the pharmacies, but it might come in the future that you have some cough medicines, but the patient does not want the liquid, he wants a capsule. You have to discuss this with the patient, okay? And of course, something that was really surprising for me was privacy. In most Ankara community pharmacies. There is no real, as far as I could see, no real private space. And that might bring a problem for intimate issues. Okay? I want to treat a vaginal rush, and that I'm not going to say that as a woman in front of other customers. Okay? So privacy is clearly an important thing to provide patient counseling. Okay? And of course, if this was really good, a good world, a perfect world, you could talk with your doctors about OTCs. You could say, well, let's discuss what you as a doctor think it's a better OTC for this situation. And then you have the approval of the doctor, and the doctor might be released from all the work he already has and do other things instead of seeing OTC patients. Okay? So I think there are some more slides about computers in pharmacy education, simulation, but I took already 37 minutes according to my presentation, and you are tired. I really thank you, çok teşekkürler, for being here after a day of work. You are tired, I can see that. My area is communication skills, and I know I like non-verbal communication. So I'm seeing all of you, and I'm detecting symptoms of tiredness. People are getting tired. Also because I'm really boring. When I talk, people go, oh, he's talking. So that's why. But anyway, I would like to go to the second part. And the second part has to do with bilgi and computers.
Dosyaların içinde sanal eczane eğitim isimli bir klasör göreceksiniz. O klasöre tıkladığınızda bizim diğer isteyen katılımcılarımıza da bu dosyayı göndereceğiz. Biz sanal eczane eğitim klasörüne tıkladığınız zaman sanal eczane eğitim exe dosyası var. Bu yeşil artı işaretiyle gördüğünüz. Onu tıklarsanız eğer bir ekran açılacak. Görmüş olduğunuz bu küçük ekran karşınıza çıkacak. Burada play sekmesine tıklarsanız eğer yazılım otomatik olarak başlayacaktır. Bunu Türkçe olarak hazırlamaya çalıştılar Portekiz'de. Portekizce ve İngilizce versiyonları var. Yine size dağıttığımız sunularda internet adresinde görebilirseniz o linke girerek indirebilirsiniz de bilgisayarlarınıza. Biz size o linki de göndeririz. Burada kayıt oluşturabilirsiniz kendi adınıza. Kayıt oluştururken buradaki bilgileri girerseniz sizin adınıza bir hesap oluşturacak istediğiniz zaman bu programı kullanabilmeniz için. Buradaki ilgili kısımları doldurarak bunu yapabilirsiniz. Ben kendi e-posta adresimle oturum açacağım şimdi. Sizin çok vaktinizi almamak adına. Giriş yaptıktan sonra burada 4 farklı sekme görüyorsunuz. Burada uygulama hakkında bilgiler, hastalıklar ve ilaçlar hakkında bilgiler, kendiniz eğer uygulamayı tekrarlayarak uygulamak isterseniz kendi sonuçlarınızda geçmişi görüntüleme sekmesinde görebilirsiniz. Uygulamayı yapmak için kendi kendini tedavi senaryosu üzerinden gidiyoruz. Burada 2 tane farklı vaka üzerinden, baş ağrısı ve diyare vakaları üzerinden Türkçe senaryolar oluşturulmaya çalışıldı. Burada senaryoları seçtiğiniz zaman karşınıza farklı özelliklere sahip sanal hastalar gelecek. Türkçe dil desteği ses anlamında sağlanmaya çalışılıyor. Türkçe dil desteği sesli olarak da sağlandığında hasta direkt sizinle konuşacak buradaki. Şimdi sadece alt metin olarak göreceksiniz. Hastalardan birini... This one.
This one? Miguel?
Miguel. 24 yaşında erkek hastamız var.
There is a button for a random character.
En altta da rastgele... Efendim? Nasıl isterseniz, herhangi herhangi birini seçebilirsiniz.
They don't have to do it now. They can do the heading.
Burada diyaloğa başlarken işte normalde eczacının nasıl başlaması gerektiğiyle ilgili hangi şıkkı tercih edersiniz? C'den başlayalım. Burada sesi de gelecek. Türkçe sesli olarak konuşabilen bir destek bulduğumuzda. Merhaba, probiyotik bir ilaç almak istiyorum diyor hastamız. C mi? Tamam.
It's very important that when you are using this, you have read before the protocol. On the folder with this program, there are 2 protocols where you can read it and then you know what to ask. You don't have to guess. You don't have to think, oh, that's better, that's not better. No, there is a protocol, and if you know the protocol, then you can choose better your answers. Okay? I don't know if you want to...
Yine size göndereceğimiz ya da yüklemiş olduğumuz dosyaların içerisinde bu baş ağrısı ve diyare ile ilgili protokoller de var. Bunlar yine literatür desteğiyle hazırlandı ve klinik eczacılar tarafından da kontrol edildi. Geliştirilebilir de. Bu protokolleri okuduktan sonra da bu uygulamayı yaparsanız daha rahat, hani hangi soruyu sorsam acaba sorusunu daha hızlı karar verme imkanınız olacaktır. Küçük 3 sayfalık kısa protokoller, akış şemalarını içeren ve hastalık hakkında kısa bilgiler veren küçük protokoller.
It's not like that. It's just 3 pages, okay? It's not to study. It's not to go back to the faculty. No, it's just for, it's very practical.
Yine evet. Evet. İşte bunları geri bildirimleriniz o yüzden de önemli. Hani yazılımın nasıl iyileştirilmesini önerirseniz, Türkiye ortamına nasıl daha uygun hale getirilebileceğini söylerseniz daha kullanılabilir halde getirilmesi mümkün olabilir. A'dan devam ediyorum. İşte her zamankinden daha yumuşak, bazen de sıvı halde değişiyor. Sık tuvalete gitmekten çok yoruldum. Bunun yine eğer isterseniz İngilizce versiyonu da deneyebilirsiniz. İngilizce versiyonunda ses de var. Yani sesi de duyabiliyorsunuz orada. Burada B diyorum ben şimdilik. Ve uygulama geçtiği sürece hani doğru yol izlendikçe hasta daha mutlu hale geliyor. Eğer istemediği bir yola giderse yüzü düşüyor. Yine cevabını verdi. Hayır, sadece normale göre daha sıvı. Ne kadardır devam ediyor da gidiyorum. Bu İngilizce versiyonundaki hızlı konuştu. 2 haftadır yaklaşık devam ediyormuş. Çok sık gittiği için de artık yorulmuş. Herhangi bir ilaç kullandınız mı diye soruyorum. Sadece yediğine içtiğine daha çok dikkat ettiğini söylüyor hasta bu cevabı verince de. Başka bir ilaç kullanmadığını öğrenmek isteyebiliriz belki. Kullanmıyormuş. Başka seçenekler karşımıza çıkıyor. Bir değişiklik oldu mu buna neden olabilecek diye sorabiliriz. Hasta çok takip edemiyor. Kısaca durumu özetleyip hastadan doğrulama almak mümkün olabilir. Bu nedenle C şıkkı seçilebilir belki. Ve hasta tamam evet benim durumum bu diyor. Ve hasta diyor ki hani uzun süredir devam ettiği için hekime yönlendirmenin daha iyi olacağını düşünebilir eczacı bu durumda. Ha? Evet. Aile hekimine yollamaya çalışırsak zaten o da diyor ki benim acelem var, hani bana bir şey çözüm bul diyor hastada. Hani çok kötü durumda değilim, sadece beni biraz toparla diyor. Böyle bir durumda da reflor ya da işte uygun gördüğünüz bir reçetesiz ilacı tavsiye edebiliyorsunuz ve hasta gülüyor, yavaş yavaş, küçük küçük gülüyor. Ve ek bilgiler verebilirsiniz. Protokolde bunları da göreceksiniz. İlaç dışında önerilerinizi de sunabiliyorsunuz. Hasta bunu kabul edebiliyor. Başka probleminin olup olmadığını yine öğrenmek isteyebilirsiniz. Sorunu yokmuş bu hastanın. Geri bildirim almanın önemli olduğunu da söylendiği için durumunda iyileşme olmadığı, hekimiyle görüştükten sonra nasıl bir geri dönüş aldığı ile ilgili bilgi almak isterseniz de hastanıza bu şekilde bir sonlandırma yapabilirsiniz konuşmanızı. Ve bu şekilde bitiyor. Devam ettiğiniz zaman sonuçlarınızı görebiliyorsunuz. Bir tane yanlış olarak değil ama az doğru. 10, 5 ve 0 olarak puanlandırılıyor seçenekler. En uygun olan 10, biraz daha iyi olan 5 ve çok uygun olmayan 0 şeklinde. Bu şekilde ne kadar sürede yaptığınızı, hangi 4 fazdan oluşan açılış, hastanın durumunu değerlendirme, danışmanlık hizmeti verme ve görüşmeyi sonlandırma aşamalarında hangi aşamalarda kaç doğru, kaç yanlış yaptığınızı görme imkanınız oluyor. Ve bu uygulamayı vaktiniz olduğunda ya da işte biraz daha eksik bir şeyler var mı diye kendinizi geliştirmek istediğinizde ya da lisans öğrencilerimiz öğrenmek istediklerinde bir şeyleri bunu istedikleri zaman gelip uygulayarak görebiliyorlar ve daha sonrasında da hangi tarihte neler yapmışlar bunları görme imkanları oluyor. Ve yani kendi başınıza yaptığınızda bu daha da hızlanarak giden bir süreç oluyor. Bu şekilde de zaman içindeki değişiklikleri görme imkanınız oluyor. Size göndereceğimiz dosyada siz başarısı protokolü üzerinden de, başarısı senaryosu üzerinden de gidebilirsiniz. Bunu denedikten sonra ankette önerilerinizi, geri bildirimlerinizi geliştirilmesi gerektiğini düşündüğünüz yönleri bize gönderirseniz bu doğrultuda biz de çalışmalara devam edebiliriz. Doktor CAVACO'ya iletip bunlar daha iyi olur, bu şekilde olursa şeklinde eczacılarımızdan geri dönüşler oldu diyerek programın iyileştirilmesini ve daha faydalı, daha kullanılabilir hale gelmesini sağlayabiliriz. Çok teşekkürler katılımlarınız için. Eğer uygulamayı yapma imkanı olan olduysa anketi verebilir ya da biz size e-posta ile gönderdiğimizde de anketi bize geri gönderebilirsiniz. Aldık. Liste dolaştı sanırım. Oraya e-postalarınızı yazdıysanız biz size hepsini de göndereceğiz. Teşekkür ederim.